Hi, I'm Nate, 28, and I knew my ex had a flair for drama, but I didn't realize she tried to humiliate me in my own damn shirt. We'd been off and on for a year, mostly because of her, I'll say. Spontaneity. But what I really mean is chaos. One week we're booking a beach trip together, the next she's crying because I don't match her energy. Whatever that means. So when she said, "Let's still go to the beach as friends, it'll help clear the air," I didn't question it too hard. I just wanted a break from the cold and from thinking about her. Even if it meant 3 awkward days of passive-aggressive sunscreen sharing. But then, 2 days before the trip, she called. No hello, just, "Hey, I think we should take some time apart." Just like, no pressure or expectations. Now, maybe that would have stung less if I hadn't just Venmoed her for half the Airbnb. Or if she hadn't ended the call with, "We should still do the beach though. You know, for closure." Like an idiot, I said okay. She promised it was just her, me, and sand therapy. I figured, why not? Worst case, I drink and tan. Best case, we talk and get closure. Plot twist, I never even got on the flight. Because the night before departure, I got blocked. On everything. Text, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, I'm not even joking. The playlist we made together? Gone. And she was gone too. Until the next morning, when I saw her Instagram story. Her, grinning ear to ear, margarita in one hand, and some half-naked guy in swim trunks wrapping his arm around her like he wasn't 2 degrees away from a restraining order. And the part that made my jaw drop? He was wearing my flannel. The green one. The one I left at her place after we made waffles and binge-watched Succession last month. Caption. Beach therapy with this one sun sparkles. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I stared at the screen for about 10 minutes, ordered the cheapest tequila I could find on DoorDash, and didn't move from my couch for a week. But here's the thing about humiliation, if you sit in it long enough, it starts to ferment into something else. Something like revenge. Day 6 of the spiral, I hadn't shaved, hadn't answered texts, and my fridge contained half a lime and 4 mustard packets. Somewhere between self-pity and tequila hangover number 4, I opened Google Photos. That's when I remembered the video. See, a month before the beach debacle, we'd made this little couples Q&A video. Something cheesy for TikTok, she was obsessed with those. Just for us, she'd said. Never posted it, but we'd edited it together on my laptop. It starts with her in my hoodie, not the flannel, the hoodie I actually liked, on my couch, smiling with that wide-open vulnerability she rarely showed in public. She goes, "Okay babe, first question, when did you know you loved me?" And then it's her crying 10 minutes in. Full on tears, dabbing at her mascara with the sleeve of my hoodie, saying, "Please don't give up on me. I know I'm a mess, but I love you more than I know how to say. I just need time to grow." I'd watched that video maybe once after we filmed it. But now, I watched it 5 times straight. Not because I missed her, but because the girl sobbing into my hoodie and the girl giggling while her new beach boy or my flannel were not the same person. I sat there for hours. And then I got an idea. I pulled out my laptop, opened CapCut, and started editing. Not out of spite. Out of documentation. I chopped the footage to just the essentials. Her trembling voice whispering, "Please don't leave me." Me pulling her into my arms. Her hand on my chest saying, "No one's ever made me feel safe like you do." The moment she laughed through tears and said, "I'd be lost without you." 32 seconds. No caption. Just those raw clips. I exported it and uploaded it to TikTok with one line. She told everyone we were taking time apart. No hashtags. No thirst traps. Just the video. I went to sleep without checking my phone. The next morning? 500,000 views. By lunch? Over 1 million. The comments? The fact that she said that and then soft-launched a new dude in his shirt is wild. I hope she's watching this from a hotel lobby with 0 Wi-Fi. This man deserves a Grammy and a hug. People started digging. Her friends, mutuals from college, realized who it was within hours. One of them commented, "Wait, is that Taylor?" Another dropped a crying emoji. Not the funny kind. The embarrassed kind. Meanwhile, I sat on my couch, silent. I didn't clap back. I didn't post again. I just let the internet work its magic. That night, at 11:06 p.m., she unblocked me. And texted, "Can we talk?" I stared at the message for 5 full minutes. Typed a reply. Deleted it. Typed another. Deleted that one too. Then I did what I should have done the moment I saw that flannel in her Instagram story. I left her on read. 2 days after I left her on read, she posted a quote to her Instagram story. "Some people only love you when you're silent." Classic move. Vague enough to deny, pointed enough to sting. I didn't respond. But she wasn't done. By day 3, I had mutual friends texting me. "Hey, I don't want to take sides, but Taylor says you're trying to ruin her life? She's telling people that video was old, and you're manipulating the context. Oh, and did you actually give the guy that shirt?" I didn't reply to any of them. Because by then, TikTok had done something I didn't expect. It dug up receipts. See, in the full version of our original video, which I still hadn't posted, there's a part where she says, "I never want us to take a break." That's what people say when they want to cheat with a clear conscience. Yup. Her own words. Spoken into my webcam. Timestamped. Crystal clear. And guess what someone in the comments section of the viral clip found? That same flannel. In a photo from 6 weeks ago. Her post. Captioned. "Stole this from him. Never giving it back, pleading face green heart." So now her whole. It's just a shirt. Defense? Shredded. She tried to say the video was from, like, last spring. But she had a distinctive streak of purple in her hair in that footage. One she got dyed literally a month and a half ago. Thank you, TikTok detectives. By now, it had over 2.3 million views. Someone had edited it with a slow violin cover of "When I Was Your Man." Another girl made a crying makeup tutorial to it, like it was a breakup anthem. And the comments? Still brutal. Still endless. Then came her TikTok. Her big, setting the record straight moment. She sat in her car. Hoodie up. Minimal makeup. Sighing into the camera. "I just want to say, for anyone who saw that video, context matters. People change. People grow. We agreed to take space, and he's twisting things to make me look heartless." I watched the whole thing. Twice. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just deflection. But the top comment under her post? "Girl, he didn't make you look heartless. You did that all by yourself." 20,000 likes. Brutal. And right underneath that? A girl tagged me. "King behavior. She did you dirty and you handled it with class." I almost laughed out loud. Me, the guy who hadn't left his apartment in 5 days. King behavior. But it wasn't just strangers who noticed. A girl I barely knew from my building, Eliza, I think, caught me getting packages from the lobby and said, "Hey, saw your video. Hope you're okay." That was rough, but like damn. I mumbled something like thanks. She smiled. That kind of quiet, unexpected kindness? It hits different. That night, I opened TikTok one last time and saw a DM request. It was from her new guy. Yup. The beach boy, in the flannel. 3 words. "You can have her." I stared at his message for a long time. "You can have her." 3 words. No punctuation. No follow-up. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The message said everything. And part of me wanted to pity the guy, truly, because whatever whirlwind romance she spun around him had clearly snapped like cheap sunglasses. But I also couldn't stop myself from imagining how it unfolded. Did she melt down on their 3rd night in the Airbnb because he didn't get her jokes? Did she snap when he used the wrong filter in an Instagram post? Or maybe, and this is my personal theory, she tried to make him do a cutesy couples TikTok, and when he hesitated, she screamed that he wasn't emotionally available. I don't know. But what I do know is that 2 hours later, she texted me again. Still unblocked, apparently. "Taylor. Hey. I'm really sorry about how everything went down." I was in a weird headspace. I panicked. I thought space would help, but I handled it horribly. That video, it just caught me off guard. "I didn't think you still had it. Can we talk? Please? I didn't answer. I don't know why. It wasn't pride. It wasn't revenge. It was just exhaustion. Have you ever been so emotionally wrung out that even anger feels like a chore? That was me. But she didn't stop. The next day she posted a video, her own montage this time, clips of us laughing in the park, her cuddling into me on the couch, me trying, and failing, to flip a pancake in her kitchen. Overlaid with that damn Mitski song. Captioned. We were never just a fling. I'm sorry. I hope someday you forgive me. I watched it once. Maybe twice. And for a moment, yeah, it tugged at something. But then I looked down at the comments. They were tearing her apart. Girl, you soft-launched another man while your ex was still packing for the trip you invited him on. Nostalgia doesn't erase disrespect. This is damage control, not remorse. And the worst one? The internet remembers. Because it does. And people were now stitching her video with mine, making side-by-side comparisons, putting her apology over her own. Beach therapy with this one sun sparkles. Story, like she hadn't turned me into a footnote for aesthetic content. That was the moment I realized something I hadn't allowed myself to think. I didn't want her back. Not a piece. Not a flicker. Not even a sip of the memory. Because even if she was sorry, that doesn't mean I owed her anything. Not my attention. Not my forgiveness. And definitely not a damn conversation. So I did what I probably should have done 2 weeks ago. I posted one last video. A calm, clear voiceover over a black screen with just white text that read. She told everyone we were taking time apart. She blocked me. Took someone else on our trip. Gave him my shirt. And when people found out, she said I took things out of context. Pause. Then, here's the full context. And I dropped the entire original video. Start to finish. All 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Raw. Real. Unedited. Her crying. Her holding my hand. Her saying, please don't leave me. Me saying, I don't want to. But I can't keep being your emotional punching bag. It was painful. It was honest. And it went nuclear. 7 million views in 48 hours. People made video essays about it. Podcasts started dissecting it. A therapist even duetted to explain trauma bonding and how manipulation looks sweet until it turns sharp. And me? I finally walked outside. I shaved. Took a shower that wasn't just me sitting under hot water until my skin pruned. I grabbed a coffee from the place around the corner. Sat outside. Let myself breathe. And that's when Eliza, the girl from my building, passed by again. This time, she stopped. Hey, she said, smiling. You look less emotionally destroyed today. Thanks. I laughed. I upgraded to mildly haunted. She chuckled, then hesitated. You ever want to go for a walk or something? I mean, as friends taking time together, not apart. I'm around. I looked at her. No baggage. No flannel. No performance. Just real. Yeah, I said. I'd like that. The thing about getting publicly humiliated is that people assume you either crumble or plot revenge. But there's a third option no one talks about. You evolve. 2 weeks after that final post, the dust had mostly settled. Taylor deleted all her apology videos. Made her account private. I heard through the grapevine she tried to claim I edited the video to make her look worse. But again, internet receipts don't lie. People had already screen recorded the whole thing 10 times over. Her little rebrand failed. She stopped posting. Her engagement tanked. Even her beach boy had apparently soft-launched his new girlfriend, the caption read. Real aesthetic. Brutal. And me? I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. Which is why, when Eliza texted me a week later, Hey, still down for that walk? I said yes. No hesitation. We met outside our building. She wore a hoodie and leggings, no makeup, hair in a messy bun. Total opposite of Taylor's always curated, camera-ready everything. And yet when she smiled and said, You ready? I realized I hadn't felt this light in months. We walked through the park. Talked about normal things. Her job, she teaches art at a middle school, brave soul, my IT gig, The trash fire that is dating in your late 20s. No pretense. No performance. Just connection. Somewhere between mile 2 and a bench under a quiet oak tree, I told her the part one hadn't told anyone. That video, I said. It wasn't about getting back at her. I mean, yeah, I was hurt, humiliated. But I didn't post it to destroy her. I posted it because for the first time, I wanted people to see me. All of me. She looked at me for a moment. I think a lot of people saw you. And they didn't see a victim. They saw a guy who stood up for himself. I nodded, but some part of me still didn't feel heroic. You know what the worst part was? I asked. It wasn't the blocking. Or the shirt. Or even the guy. It was that she invited me on that trip, made me feel chosen, then made me look like a desperate fool for trusting her. Eliza's voice was soft. That says everything about her. And nothing about you. I didn't realize I'd been holding my breath until that moment. She squeezed my hand. Not romantic. Not suggestive. Just a little human anchor to say, you're not alone. We kept walking. Over the next month, we hung out a few more times. A bookstore date where she made fun of my taste in fantasy novels. A diner breakfast where she ordered extra hash browns and told me, anyone who skips carbs is not to be trusted. And then, one night, we sat on my balcony, and I asked her, what's the worst thing someone ever did to you and made you think it was love? She didn't even pause. Told me I was too intense for someone to actually want forever. I shook my head. Whoever said that has the emotional range of a teaspoon. She laughed so hard she snorted. And that's when it hit me, not lightning or passion or some movie soundtrack crescendo. Just this quiet, solid thought. I'm okay. I'm actually okay. A few days later, I opened my DMs. Another message. From Taylor. Again. Saw your new post. You look really happy. I'm glad. I mean that. I've been doing a lot of reflecting. Therapy. Trying to figure out why I keep burning good things down. You didn't deserve what I did. I know that now. This time, I didn't feel sick reading her words. I didn't feel tempted to reply, or angry, or even smug. I just felt nothing. And that, weirdly, felt like the biggest win of all. I let the message sit. No response. No fanfare. Just a digital ghost of someone I used to think I needed to be whole. Later that week, Eliza and I sat by the river at sunset. She leaned into me, no filters, no captions, no curated angles. Just presence. Do you ever think about the trip? She asked. I nodded. Yeah. But not the way I used to. And then I smiled, because it was true. She told everyone we were taking time apart. And I used that time, not to chase her, not to shame her, but to find myself again. You'd think the story ended there. New girl, peace reclaimed, dignity restored. But closure's never that clean. Not in real life. Because about a month later, I got an email. Not a DM, not a text. An actual email, subject line. Regarding your TikTok video. It was from a guy named Evan. He said he was a freelance journalist writing a feature on viral heartbreak stories and digital accountability. He'd seen my post, of course, and wanted to interview me. Said it was part of a broader piece on how platforms like TikTok are reshaping the way people respond to relationship betrayal. I almost deleted it. But then I reread one line he wrote. What you did wasn't petty, it was clarity. That kind of emotional honesty hits harder than any revenge post. And I don't know. Something about that felt true. So I replied. A week later, we sat down for coffee and he recorded the whole thing. I told him everything, from the trip that never happened, to the shirt, to the moment I realized I wasn't even angry anymore. Just done. He asked me, what would you say to her now, if you had to? I paused, then said, nothing. He raised an eyebrow. Because saying something implies I still want a reaction. And I don't. Some stories deserve silence. He nodded. Wrote that down. 2 weeks later, the article dropped. Title: Ghosted, Gaslit, and Gone Viral. How Broken Hearts Are Building Digital Empires. I wasn't the only one in the piece. There were others. A woman whose boyfriend left her while she was in labor. A guy whose fiancée cheated the night before their wedding. And me. The flannel story. That's what Evan called it. But here's the twist. The article blew up. Got picked up by BuzzFeed, then HuffPost. Suddenly, I was getting tagged in reaction videos again. New ones? Dozens of comments saying, "I showed this to my teenage daughter so she knows what real respect looks like. This man turned heartbreak into healing. More of this, less petty drama. Why are all the emotionally mature men either fictional or taken?" Okay, that last one made me laugh. And then Eliza sent me a screenshot of it with, "They're right. Shame I got here first." But here's where things got weird. Taylor messaged me again. This time on LinkedIn. No joke. She found me on LinkedIn, of all places, and sent this. "I saw the article. I know it's been a while, and I don't expect anything. But I wanted to say, you were right. About everything. I'm in therapy. For real this time. It's brutal. But I'm trying to break some patterns before I turn into my mom. If you're ever open to a conversation, even just as humans, I'd like that." I stared at the message. Then closed the app. Because what was I going to say? "Cool, glad you're unpacking your trauma. Sorry you turned my flannel into a public weapon and made me question my own reality for 2 weeks." No. That door was closed. But not locked. I didn't reply. But I didn't block her either. Because here's what I was learning. Not everything needs a clean ending. Some people will always live in the shadow of who they could have been to you. And sometimes forgiveness looks like not responding, but also not wishing them ill. Just moving forward. Without dragging the weight behind you. And I was moving forward. Eliza and I weren't rushing anything. No big declarations, no TikToks. Just early morning walks, shared playlists, dumb inside jokes, and her strange obsession with oversalted popcorn. But here's the moment that felt like a full circle twist. One night, she grabbed my phone to put on music. Swiped through my camera roll and froze on a photo. It was me and Taylor. A candid mid-laugh, back when things still felt real. I stiffened. Waited for the questions. But Eliza just handed the phone back and said, "You look like someone who wanted to be chosen. I hope you feel chosen now." And for the first time in my adult life, I did. A few months later, summer ended. The leaves turned. And one morning, I found myself at the same beach we were supposed to visit together, me and Taylor. The trip that never happened. Except this time, I wasn't alone. Eliza and I drove up for the weekend. Nothing dramatic. Just us, a thermos of too strong coffee, and a blanket that smelled like fabric softener and faint sunscreen. We didn't talk about the past. We didn't need to. But as we sat on the sand, watching seagulls argue over a chip bag, I pulled out my phone. Scrolled way back through my saved videos. Past the crying, the chaos, the half-healed versions of myself. And I hit delete. The crying clip. The flannel clip. Here's the full context. Post. All of it. Not out of bitterness. Not to erase the story. But because it didn't belong to me anymore. It belonged to the past. Eliza glanced over, saw what I was doing, and just nodded. Good. That night, we watched the sunset, not through a camera, not for content, just there. Quiet. Whole. And I realized, healing isn't loud. It's not a viral moment, or a dramatic monologue, or a perfect caption that wraps everything up. It's slow. It's boring, even. It's making pancakes on a Tuesday. Laughing when the first one burns. It's someone remembering how you take your coffee. It's deleting a video without fanfare. It's peace. She told everyone we were taking time apart. And in the end, that time made all the difference.